afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BalaCore Fitness Show. I'm Ellen Como, your host, and before we start the show, we do have some breaking news. The California Highway Patrol officers are investigating a fatal crash with 2 deaths in Canyon Country. Officials received a report of a head-on collision about 8:45 a.m. this morning, according to the Los Angeles County fire officials, and they responded to the scene along with CHP officers. CHP officials are still on the scene investigating as of 11:20 this morning, and coroner's officials are en route. You can stay up with the full details at hometownstation.com. Gosh, don't like to start an hour that way, but just keep these families in our thoughts and prayers. And we will give you updated information as we get it. Well, welcome to the show. I'm Ellen Como. Today we're going to talk about self-talk. Self-talk, the things that we talk ourselves in to, the things that we talk ourselves out of, and sometimes the things we need to just turn off our brain and just do, just follow along with. Just kind of take off and take a risk that you've never taken before. I'm going to share a couple stories that in ways that I have taken risks outside my comfort box. It was funny. I was having a talk with someone just right before I went on the air, and she said, I can be spontaneous, but she can be spontaneous. It was cute. I said, yeah, in your box. A lot of us can be. We have this little box that we make our own, and in that little box, we can get as crazy as we want to. But as soon as we get outside those lines, the world seems so big and scary to us. So what does that look like if we step outside that box and take some risks for ourselves and talk ourselves into taking some risks and not giving ourselves a bunch of excuses why we shouldn't. Last year, about this time, I was approached to do the Santa Clarita Valley pageant. And I asked what was involved, and they said, you'll have to walk on stage in a bathing suit. And I said, oh, no, no. I'm not getting up on stage in a bathing suit. And that's a very vulnerable thing. Then I had to walk in an evening gown, and I'm so entirely clumsy. I had to do an interview, and I had to give a speech. All those things were very intimidating to me. And that's when I decided my self-talk could have told me, oh, Ellen, no, this isn't good for you. These are all things that make you very uncomfortable. You shouldn't do this. Don't do this. You're very busy. You just started a business. There's other things you should be doing. I could have had a bunch of excuses why I opted out. At that moment, though, I decided instead to say no, to say yes. Of course I'll do it. With that, I got to train and learn and get up there on a stage in front of a lot of people and conquer my fears. And I found out I was having fun. Imagine that. I was actually having fun with the things that I was so scared of. And then I went on and I won on top of it. And if I didn't win, it wouldn't have mattered because I conquered my fear. And I conquered my fear by my self-talk of telling myself, you can do this, you can get up there, you can give the speech, you can walk in your bathing suit. And then I put the work involved as well. Because work does come in a lot of times the choices that we make. There's work involved. So I went in and decided to give it 100%, and I did, and I walked away with a title. And either way, I would have been happy. Another area of my life where I could have made a bunch of excuses, and I wouldn't be sitting where I am today with my fitness studio, is about 2 years ago. I had my BalaCore. Everyone that listens to the show listens to the show knows that BalaCore is a piece of fitness equipment I invented. And I invented this about 7 years ago. And I had 2 partners that really, didn't see eye to eye on the way we wanted to take the company. And I got to a point, I was going through a divorce. I was defeated. I was weak. I was done. And my partners were very hard to deal with at the time because they felt completely right about the way they were going, and I felt completely right about the way I was going, and we really couldn't find a common ground between us at that moment. So I decided I'm going to walk away. I can't do this anymore. I invented this product. I'm going to invent another product. And I was sitting in my kitchen. I remember just kind of not knowing what I was going to do now for a living. My phone rang, and it was my friend. I told her the story, and she said, well, I know what you're going to do. You're going to work for me, and you're going to fly corporate jets around the world. And now I could have said no, but she told me the salary, she told me the benefits, she kind of explained the job to me. And I said, yes, you're right. Okay, let's do this. So I did for 7 months. I flew around the world twice. I think at least twice. And in every flight, it was just me and the passengers and the 2 pilots on board. It was a private jet. I flew so many CEOs and CFOs, and each and every one of them became part of my teachers of my journey to get my BalaCore back and to go back and fight for my BalaCore. If I didn't say yes to that and go outside my comfort zone, I'd never been a flight attendant before. I really wasn't even comfortable with flying. That wasn't my favorite thing to do. But I said yes anyway. That self-talk could have told me, oh, no, you don't like to fly. You've never done this before. You're going to be doing this at such a high end. You can't stand, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. But instead, my self-talk told me, take a risk, go ahead, fly around the world and see what happens. What happened was a journey of learning with the top people in the world that own businesses. Each and every one of them told me, you get back on the ground and you fight for your product. And as soon as I decided to do that, that's when Danny came along and offered to open my first BalaCore Fitness Studio. Now I've been open for a year. We're going to be back. We're going to be talking about self-talk this hour, how we can talk ourselves into things and out of things. And a lot of times, if we just turn off our brain and go with our heart, success is on the other side. We'll be right back. This is Ellen Como on BalaCore Fitness Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You're listening to BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We do have some breaking news. The California Highway Patrol officers are investigating a fatal crash with 2 deaths in Canyon Country. Officials received a report of a head-on collision about 8:45 a.m., according to the Los Angeles County fire officials. They responded to the scene along with CHP officers. CHP officials are still on the scene investigating, and coroner's officials are en route. And you can read the full details, and we'll get upcoming details on hometownstation.com. Don't like delivering news like that at all. So let's keep those families in our thoughts and our prayers, definitely, in this difficult time. But we're talking about self-talk today on the show. And Danny's here.
Danny Lou just showed up.
Yes.
Look what the wind blew in. And if you don't know the weather report, it is like probably 77 degrees and windy outside. Yeah. So we don't only give you traffic and other reports, we give you the wind and weather. So I'm here now for BalaCore Fitness.
The wind and weather?
Yeah. The weather of the wind.
Yeah, and we did all blow in here. I think everybody's blowing in everywhere where they're going today. It's crazy out there, isn't it? But it's going to make for nice blue skies when it's all done.
Okay, allergies and fitness. That's what we can talk about.
Yes, we're talking about self-talk today. Self-talk, what things that we can talk ourselves into or out of. The first segment, Danny wasn't here. I could have gone on the air and went, oh my gosh, Danny's not here. I'm going to do this by myself. But I just took it on. I went, shared a couple stories about self-talk for me. And that's what I'm trying to share today with you is self-talk. How you can take any situation that is going on and instead of throwing in the I can'ts and the I shouldn'ts and why, and the nerve, instead think of the yeses and the cans and also think of the surprises that come when you just choose to say the word sure or yes or let's do this. Some great things can happen. And in you were wanting to
I was just going to say because the self-talk does nothing for you. If you say you can't, I can't do this, as you're saying, this is what it's about. You're already putting yourself into that mindset. What
do you mean it can't do anything for you?
No, it can't do anything for you. Like I can't go work out. I can't. I can't get enough sleep. I'm too tired.
So you said negative self-talk.
Negative talk, yeah.
Yes, there we go.
I can't do this. I can't do that.
I'm sitting here going, okay, this is going to be an interesting show.
Yeah, the I can'ts.
Okay, show's over. Everyone go home. This is not gonna go very well. But okay, so you're saying negative
self-talk.
Okay,
of the I
much
can't.
Better. Yes, the I can'ts, the all those things, all those excuses that you give yourself. I hear them all the time at the gym, and I hear them outside of the gym about coming to my gym in the studio. Gosh, I'm just so busy. Really, you're not that busy. You can make time for anything. We have classes that are as short as 30 minutes, so you can make time for 30 minutes for yourself, especially when it's your health. If that 30 minutes is going to prolong your life for an hour, how important does that 30 minutes become?
Very important.
I know. Doesn't it?
When you multiply that by many hours, you should be able to live longer.
Exactly. See, and so, we have to look at it that way.
Right.
What are you getting out of it? And then I will hear people telling me, I just got to get back into it before I walk in your studio. And I think, no, you walk in my studio to get back into it, meaning health and fitness. They want to somehow go out and do some walks, or I don't know what they're going to do before they get in there. But coming to the studio and walking through the door of the studio is where we're going to get you fit. That's where it's going to start. That's where the journey begins. You don't need to go out and start your journey before you come in and start your journey again. So don't use that as an excuse not to walk into a studio or a gym. And
the added part is just being the businessman of it and working out with Ellen for a couple of years, and on the BalaCore, with the great results I've been able to obtain, and previous gyms, which I've been through all of them, from the big names to smaller names, is that Ellen will help you to get into shape the right way. So you might say, hey, I'm going to go on a treadmill and do it this. And you have a pull in your knee. And you're walking on a treadmill, which is unhealthy at an incline because your previous people have told you, hey, you walk on an incline, that'll be more cardio, this and that, and you have a hurt knee. So let us come assess you, and with your hurts and whatever modifications that Ellen will give you in the classes, which all of our trainers are trained to do, and that's going to get you healthier faster. And I can't tell you how many tens of people that have come in and said, oh, I got a sore arm, which Danny Lou right here did, and I couldn't bend my left arm. So Ellen was able to bring my core strength up by evaluating what I needed to do. So let the experts, as in Ellen and our staff, especially Ellen, been doing this for 30 years, help you to get the healthier way and not think you know the way to do it. We can always add to what you think you can do. And what Danny was saying is his range of motion of his shoulder was very small, and by opening up and strengthening his core, it allowed for his shoulder to have a longer range of motion. So that's what he was trying to say. But my layman's terms. Yeah. And I'm talking just so you know, so that makes like a little bit more sense, because it's hard to see because we're sitting here in a studio and they can't see what we're talking about. Right. We're pointing and doing all this stuff. Right. Yeah, I wish they could see us. They do. YouTube. You go on YouTube, and then you can see exactly what we were talking about. Right. KHTS. But I also hear in my gym, let's say to get in the gym, the self-talk. I don't have time. You do have time. You can make the time. I'm not fit enough to walk in the studio. That's the whole point of coming to the studio, so we can make you fit. Yeah, I have too many aches and pains. A lot of the times the aches and the pains and the injuries you have is because you're not working out, or you're not working out correctly. And it's funny, there was the top 5 things that people are doing right now that they should not be doing. And a lot of them are the staples of a lot of gyms out there. Not in ours, but in a lot of other gyms. And that'll be for another show. So when you come in our gym, you can talk to us. I also will, when you belong to my studio, if you are a member and you need some coaching, what you do is set up a phone call with our front staff girl, Marilyn, and then I will set up a phone call with you if I'm not at the studio. And we have 15 minutes, and we can go over anything that you're going through, struggling with, pains that you're going through, along with why you're in those classes. While you're in the classes, I will have you raise your hand if you have anything that is close to pain. And when we get back, we'll talk the difference between discomfort and pain briefly and get back to self-talk. Well, this is Ellen Como and Danny Lou on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.